Hey there, fight fans. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe this episode of Combat Sports Talk. Welcome to Combat Sports Talk, a podcast dedicated to UFC and Bellator discussion, the MMA community, and combat sports in general. I'm your host, Ryan Smith, and joining me this week is the entire Combat Sports Talk crew. We are back in full effect. We got George. We got George G Money Star Wars, but we're going to go to John Keys first.
Keys. Oh man! If we one day we're gonna publish the pre-shows that we have.
No.
And we're just gonna throw it out. We're gonna throw it out there wherever it lands. It lands. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
It's gonna land in the round trash can.
Hey, our pre-shows are just as fantastic as our post-shows sometimes. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. Okay.
Yeah.
Scene for the very There's a lot of jokes in there about pre.
Oh no. Seen for the very first time in Combat Sports Talk gear, Kelechi Casey Onyebuchi.
Give it up for Sexual Chocolate, y'all. Give it up.
Randy Watson.
Good and terrible.
That boy good.
And the man who needs no introduction because I've already introduced him, George G Money Stalwart.
What it do?
There he is.
I am so excited to see everybody on brand for this show. Like, this is the first time that everybody's been on brand. So
get it. It's Kelechi.
So Kelechi's got on the classic Combat Sports Talk tee. You got George with the Intelligent Defense discussion group on our Facebook group. You got the polo over there with John Keys, and I am actually wearing a Combat Sports Talk shirt. This is the Kelechi Onyebuchi catchphrase T-shirt. The boom, let me see, right here. Boom rocked them.
Boom rocked them.
There it is. That is the classic catchphrase for Kelechi Casey Onyebuchi. I created this shirt. Amazon took it off their store because it only had one sell. And this is it. This is the shirt that's sold. Only one.
Man, he didn't have to throw it out there like that.
In case y'all didn't know, I am an influencer. I'm selling all types of merch.
So we are all out for Combat Sports Talk as we return from the hiatus that was basically imposed by my kid's spring break.
Yeah, no doubt. You had a nice time. You do.
I did 6 cities in 9 days. 4 state capitals.
How many capitals?
4 state capitals.
Man.
And so it was over 1,200 miles of driving. I drove a small fraction of it. Catherine drove the rest. She is a better driver now than she was when she started.
Oh wow!
Shout out to Kat.
I only bring that up because I believe that I'm going to die sooner than I was before the trip. My heart cannot take too many more close calls with a learner driver on the streets of St. Louis. Let me just say.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Did y'all at least stop at White Castle to get something, man?
No, they wanted to. They absolutely wanted to stop at White Castle. I personally did not want to use the time that we had stopping off at White Castle for burgers.
It's not worth it.
It's just not.
Hold on, both of y'all stop, okay? Because White Castle actually celebrated its 100th year this year, okay? And they were going to have a special celebration, but because of COVID and everything, they actually stopped. They actually said no, not to this year, but they're going to relegate it either later or actually to next year.
White Castle is good for one thing and one thing only.
I'm
soaking
listening.
up alcohol after a night of drinking.
I
take it back. There's a second use. White Castle is also good for cutting weight.
Okay, and I agree with both of them. They are, man, because believe me, 2 White Castles.
Evacuate your bowels, fam.
All right. That's 2. I mean, it's like you take 2 White Castles and you're full, and then you won't be full later. Okay, I promise you. All right, I promise you. Oh
right.
my goodness.
Well, George, I don't know why I'm doing this tonight. John,
you must have been talking to all your kids tonight, and you called one kid and you called them by all their names, so you got to that one. Okay, that's what
it
that
has
is.
been happening more. It has been happening more. You want to give us a very quick run through about the trivia of the day, since we spent so much time reading each other.
Yeah, sure. Y'all know that they're reviving medieval combat across the way. That apparently life has gotten so boring that they started up the International Medieval Combat Federation. It's a full contact sport in Europe that they're knighted up. They have full armor. Let's see here, and it's the competition is held mainly in Spain. So yeah. They've been going ever since.
Spain falls mainly in the plain.
Yeah, I was going there too.
Yes, that too. That's something that you have to learn. Yes. Their last, let's see, the weapons they use are all based on historical origins. They got metal maces, axes, swords, including falchions. Pole arms are all permitted in group fights, while war hammers and weapons with hammer attachments may not be used in international events. Regional events, however, you might get that.
All right, Kelechi.
What's interesting, though, is we got a double champ on the call, and he's an expert with the mace. So I feel like you might add a third champ to this.
Yeah, let's get him to one of those regional competitions so he can use that mace on somebody.
Dude, y'all missed it on the pre-show. Y'all would have saw my katana as well.
Yes, we actually broke out our weaponry here.
Katana.
Exactly. This competition actually is in its 6th year, believe it or not. Wow. They do have them they do it in Spain, but they get teams from all over. They're doing they got male and female pole arms, male and female long swords, and male and female swords and shields, 5-on-5, 3-on-3, and the one I really want to see is the 16-on-16 battle. Okay. Just to see what you got.
I've seen the 3-on-3, and it's kind of dope, especially when you got that one person who doesn't really belong and he's trying to hide. Like I kind of dig the 3-on-3.
Well, let's see who's been taking it. Ukraine has actually been taking the 3-on-3. Well, no, actually, it's been Quebec. Quebec's been taking 3-on-3 for a minute.
Wait, why is it Quebec and not Canada? I want to know. That's like saying Texas beat the United States.
Well, hold on. That actually kind of makes sense because we do consider ourselves the planet Texas. It's Texas and then the rest of the U.S. All right, we are the only state that still screams succession.
And the only state with its separate grid. How's that working out?
Yeah,
hey,
I know, right?
You know what? You know what? Just because you live in Colorado doesn't mean you're not a Texan. All right. So
yeah,
that's fair.
Watch yourself.
I mean, I still claim my Texas roots.
we all. I mean, maybe. Look, maybe George and John because they not actually from Texas. They Texan now.
Wow. Yeah, y'all didn't grow up like that.
Wow.
So you
doing it like that, huh?
People.
Dude, they basically might as well have called us, some Uncle Toms.
No, I mean, they call us them people. That's what they do.
Yeah, basically that's what they do.
I actually called you a Sambo.
No, come on.
Yeah, that too.
No. Woo. Let's stop that. Let's put a squash on that. We're not using that terminology, okay?
I'm just saying, just because I wasn't born in Texas don't mean I ain't got love for Texas.
Okay.
Exactly.
I've been here. How long has it been now? I've been here almost 10 years. Boom. Rock.
I took my oath in Texas. What are you talking about? Okay, good Lord, I took my oath.
Only two things matter.
Yeah, because the military.
And do you drink sweet tea? Like,
yes.
Other than that, you're good. You're Texas.
Yeah, I do say y'all. And
I don't know about that sweet tea, but I'll tell you what, I drink some Tito's.
Diabetes is real.
Yeah, you see on previous episodes, Kelechi has drunk
a whole
tea
gallon
by
of
the
sweet
gallon
tea to the head.
He holds up a gallon. That's sweet tea.
You represent for Texas deep in Colorado, huh?
But that hat is straight up Colorado.
Yeah, it is.
All right, let's get into it. Like people gonna be like, I thought I was listening to an MMA podcast. We been on Texas. We done
did medieval combat. Let's get into it. We have a great show for you. We're gonna get right into the official decision and look at the fights that happened on Saturday night. The official decision. This is where we look at the fights from Saturday night. It was UFC Vegas 21, Edwards versus Muhammad, Saturday, March 13th, 2021 at the Apex Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Guess what, y'all? Angela Overkill Hill defeated Ashley Yoder by unanimous decision. That's right. She won again. Overkill style. She swarmed her. Look, for real. I was like, oh my God.
You couldn't be any happier about that, could you?
That's right. Right. You know, I'm the converted. I was the biggest Angela Overkill hater in the entire world. And now what? I'm honor bound to pick her in every fight since Tisha Torres. I didn't pick her for that one, but I was right.
Her social media has been on point here lately too, you know.
You know what? I got to say this about Angela Hill. Angela Hill could have a career in sketch comedy after the UFC. I don't think that she's got the voice really for like color commentary, but I think she'd make a great comedian. She is hilarious on social media. Yeah. I like watching her.
Have y'all heard her podcast?
I checked out about 5 minutes of it.
Okay. Wow. I thought you were an Overkill fan.
Yeah, we're gonna let her know.
I'm a bigger Karen Bryant fan, but you know, I do an MMA podcast, so it's hard sometimes to listen.
We're supposed to be supporting women of color in the MMA community doing shows. Like they are basically our
You know what? I think I probably have listened to 5 more minutes of their podcast than you have, Mr. Stallman.
Dude, I don't know when they brought it up. I listened to a whole show. Or two.
Wow. Okay.
All right. I'm committing to spending some time listening to that podcast. I have interacted with it. I've responded to some of their tweets that they've put out on Twitter. And a lot of times I catch clips on Instagram. So it's not that I'm not aware of it. I just didn't take time to listen to it fully.
Don't back that man into a corner like that.
Yeah. I know, right?
Eric Anders.
What are you, Eric Anders?
And Darren Stewart ended their fight at 4:37 in round number 1 via no contest of an illegal knee. So, you know, everybody was like, well, why is this a no contest? Why did Peter Yan get a disqualification? What is the difference? What is the difference, guys?
It's the fact, wasn't it the fact that that it was early on that, you know, with Peter Yan, they had more rounds or something like that to make a decision upon?
The reason why this was an illegal knee and it was no contest was that Peter Yan, and he was disqualified because he was warned that the fighter was down.
By the referee.
He was told by the referee that the fighter was down, and he threw the illegal knee anyway. In this fight, that there was no such warning, and so it was not considered a intentional knee. And that's one of the distinguishing factors. That the reason why there was a disqualification was because in the Peter Yan fight, which we'll talk a little bit about later on, the Peter Yan fight, Mark Smith told him that the fighter was down. He heard and registered that and threw the knee anyway. And so therefore, because of that, that was an intentional knee, and so therefore he was disqualified.
Fair enough. And on Eric Anders' point, I couldn't understand anything more than just a battle lust at that point when he threw the knee, because there was really no need for him to throw that knee, because he had him on the ground and he was just bombing on him, and then he was just like, oh, here's a knee I forgot about, and boom, and that's when it happened. Pretty much, it was no real reason why that Eric Anders needed to throw that knee. But
the hard part,
I guess we'll talk about
Eric Anders' career has been just kind of all over the map, and he struggled to find his own. This could have been his signature win that he needed to really get back into contention, and yet rookie mistakes for a guy who's not a rookie.
Fair enough.
We'll talk. Yeah, we'll talk about that, because I got an opinion about that.
All right. Matthias Nicolau defeated Manel. Is it Manel? Manel Cape?
Manel Cap. Manel Cap.
Cape via split decision.
He lost.
Yeah.
And it was a weird one. It was a weird one. He shouldn't have lost that, in my opinion. But the rules state never leave your fight in the hands of the judges. So,
well, Davey Grant did not leave the fight in the hands of the judges, because he defeated Jonathan Martinez via TKO in round number 2.
Take your drinks, because I'm gonna say it. The Factory X fighters struggled this card.
There it is. All right. In the co-main event of the evening, Dan Ige defeated Ige. Sorry, I always get that messed up.
What is going on with you tonight, bro?
Just got back from vacation.
You got face blindness.
Dan Ige defeated Gavin Tucker via knockout at 22 seconds in round number 1.
All it took was one punch.
Literally. Okay.
All I need is one punch to end it.
It was like it was 17 seconds of getting him in position, and it was 4 seconds of contact, and that was it. So literally,
too strong.
You could literally.
Ryan has just been waiting for these drops.
I know. I'm my bad, Ryan. Okay, but no, it took him 4 seconds to knock him out, but it took him 17 to hunt him down.
I
1
just
second
love
to hit the ground.
One Punch Man is my favorite anime. That's not true, but it's one of my favorites.
It's okay for it to be your favorite. What's your favorite?
It's not my favorite,
Ryan?
but it is.
What's
one
your
of my
favorite,
favorites.
Ryan? What is your favorite,
Code
Ryan? Kogeas?
Oh
okay,
yeah, that was good.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
That's only because he hasn't seen Mongolian Chop Squad.
He hasn't seen Fooly Cooley, dude. Fooly Cooley, or even Macross. Okay, which was my true jump off. But
all right, I misspoke. The Dan Ige fight was not the co-main. The co-main was Misha Cirkunov versus Ryan Spann. Ryan Spann dispatched homeboy at round number 1, 1 minute and 11 seconds. All ones.
Yeah. That's too many ones up there. That's what, 33?
11 to 1. Ryan Spann's a bad man, dude. Like, people need to stop sleeping on that dude.
He's out of Texas.
Fortis.
He's out of Fortis.
Fortis. We need to really invade Fortis one good time.
I'm gonna need you to fix the terminology about invade Fortis.
Yeah, what's all this
like
talk?
With what? With what army?
Well, wait a minute. I thought we were solidarity. I thought we're having the solidarity together.
How about we go visit and
Pay
politely ask for some interviews or talk to some of the fighters or something. Invade. I can see us now showing up mid-class. We invading Fortis, y'all. No,
acting like I'm talking about kicking in the door with my boxing gloves on and be like, you, and what? You think I'm that crazy?
All my friends at Fortis MMA, George Stallworth, Kelechi Onyebuchi, and Ryan Smith do not, in any shape, form, or fashion, agree with the words rolling out of John Key Smith's mouth. John Key's mouth. I'm sorry.
No smoke.
Hold on.
The
Well,
views
first of all,
expressed by John Key do not represent those of Combat Sports Talk and its affiliates
First of all, okay, I have mad respect for Fortis, y'all, and second of all, y'all way too close for me to be talking smack to. Okay, Ryan and George live way far away. And so does Kalechi. Okay, I live literally almost right down the street from Fortis, so
Good. So we'll see
much
some
love.
interviews coming from you soon.
Yeah, that's right.
Or abuse.
Invade 'em.
I mean, because hey, yeah, there you go. Set me up for that kill. Okay, yeah, go ahead. I'm backtracking on that.
As
Okay,
one who has been set up by Ryan Smith before, trust me, you don't want that.
Oh yes, it's happening.
Because
It's
see, I'm gonna
happening.
walk in and be like, "Hey guys, you know," and I'm taking all the bass out my voice. "Hey guys, how's it going? You know, can I go ahead and get a few interview?" And they'd be like, "Yeah, as soon as you take this front kick," and I'm like, "Oh man." Then that's when I say it was Ryan's fault.
We call it a leg
And
punch.
then you get eye poked.
Exactly.
In the main event of the evening, Leon Edwards dang near blinded Bilal Muhammad via eye poke at 18 seconds of round number 2. Oh my gosh!
Oh, that no. It was this much. It was this much of the finger.
So let me just show you. These two fingers are essentially the same length. So if you do this one, you can still show that it went this far.
Okay. All right, my bad, dog.
Come on,
bad.
bro.
Okay. It's only offensive if you feel like it's offensive. Okay.
The views expressed by John Keys do not necessarily
He is
reflect
off
the
the
views of
rails
Combat Sports
tonight.
Talk or its affiliates.
Can I get that instead of my name tag? Can I just get that?
You fell victim to one of the classic blunders.
Can I just get that as my nameplate from now on? You know, the views expressed
by John Keys.
But he went mid knuckle all the way to his eye, man.
It was the eye poke scene around the MMA world, which caused questions about why are we still using those gloves versus like the old Pride gloves that curl more and don't allow for eye pokes.
Thank
pretty
you.
simple.
And it's not like the UFC doesn't own them. UFC does own them because they bought every intellectual property and patent. Wow, that really went down, didn't it?
Asking you,
okay, you know.
There it is. The
all right, there it is. There it is. Just for tonight, people. Just for tonight. All right. Yes, they do own the patents to the Pride gloves, which do curl more. And you know, and if you ever watch a Pride fight, you very rarely saw an eye poke. If you did see an eye poke, it was very intentional. So I don't understand it. I don't understand why is that they don't have those gloves at this point.
You know, if they just automatic point deduction for an eye poke, I bet we'll start seeing a lot less eye pokes.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that accidents don't happen.
Yeah.
But what I am saying is people will take a lot more care if they're concerned that 1 point might cost them around.
So we're talking about the new gloves. Now, Trevor Whitman designed a new set of gloves. And a lot of the fighters, Aljamain Sterling being one of them, they're called Onyx gloves, and they swear by them. They say that they are better than the UFC gloves that they have. Now, they provide additional protection to avoid eye pokes while still providing the ability for you to wrestle, because you need your fingers to be able to wrestle. And so therefore, a lot of fighters are trying to influence the UFC to get the Onyx gloves from Trevor Whitman. The problem, according to Trevor Whitman, is that the UFC wants exclusive rights and the license to those gloves so that no one else can get them except for going through the UFC, which he is not necessarily willing to, he being Trevor Whitman, is not necessarily willing to give that to the UFC. So therefore, I guess one of the questions becomes, you know, does the UFC give up its desire for this exclusivity?
Safety.
For the safety of their fighters, or does Trevor Whitman give up the freedom to sell his product wherever in order to ensure the safety of all fighters?
If we had collective bargaining,
Oh, here
This
it
would have
is.
been an easy answer.
Drink. That's a drink.
I'm out of water.
Why is
Cheers
that a
for
drink? What
collective
am I missing
bargaining.
here?
Because elective bargaining is another way of saying a fighter union.
Yeah.
He's bringing up the fighter union. That's a drink. Let's talk a little bit
But
about the
realistic.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to hit real quick though. Like, it comes down to that whole intellectual property thing, and if it really is Trevor Whitman being able to make the entire sport better, then it's kind of incumbent upon UFC to drop the exclusivity agreement, because it's about making the whole sport of MMA better rather than just your one promotion, I guess.
Well, we can see the motivation for the UFC to want to own the patent, because then it
They can
creates a
sell it out,
barrier.
right?
Yeah, well, it creates a barrier, right? Because now you can say that your promotion is safer than fighting at a ONE FC or a Strikeforce. I think that I think it's incumbent upon Strikeforce and ONE FC and PFL to go to Trevor Whitman and be like, we want to buy your Onyx gloves, so that it then forces the UFC's hand. Like, that's the thing too, is that there's another way around this, and I don't know that Trevor Whitman has considered this, is sell it to Strikeforce, even if you take it at a discount, because the moment your gloves demonstrate safety for fighters, you are going to force all the other promotions to adopt it, or else it becomes a fighter hazard.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, I'm glad. I'm glad we agree on that.
You
Bilal
make-
Muhammad released a statement after the eye poke. He said that my heart is shattered by my first main event ended like that, but God's the best of planners. I'm sorry to the fans of the UFC. You deserve the full fight. Alhamdulillah, the vision is coming back and no permanent damage to the eye. I'll be back to run it back. Leon Edwards. My Arabic is not great. Leon Edwards, on the other hand, is not interested in running it back. He's like, sorry about that eye poke, Bilal, but I deserve a title shot. So no dice on the run back.
Sorry,
I kind of
mate.
agree. If you're winning the fight, why run it back?
It was one round, and it was a close
all you need.
round.
That's all you need.
From a certain point of view, it was a close round. And on top of that, let's put it out there, it was a placeholder fight. All right, nobody else wanted to fight Leon Edwards for a series of unfortunate events. Bilal says, "Man, I'll be your Huckleberry," and it's a number 13 versus a number 3. Turn it down. Is that what you're saying? Okay, my bad. All right, you could have just said turn it down, John.
You were speaking, so I was trying to give you the hand sign.
Well,
to
people were
move your
thinking
mic
like,
closer
you
to
know,
your mouth so we don't hear the clicking on the
KC,
glasses.
I thought he was taking shots at you over there drinking that jug.
that's what I thought too. I was like, come on, man, leave Casey alone.
Look,
for
y'all know
once,
how
man.
I
Come
do.
on.
I take
So-
jugs straight to the head.
So if you go back to the last episode, I don't know. The only person who noticed what I was doing was Kalechi. And what it was that when I would go full screen, he would try to eat, and as soon as he would eat, I'd put it back on the 4 screen, the 4 shot.
I hated you so much.
So
he get caught with his mouth full.
Yeah,
You're
the
like,
whole time.
This is the only chance I get to eat and drink through the whole day, and Ryan wants to put me on blast.
So it was so funny because it happened the whole show, and he would wait until I put John or George on the screen, and then you see him because I can see all the faces.
Quickly take a bite.
He'd take a bite, and I'd switch it back, so he's like,
The whole show.
the whole show.
The whole show.
Dude, Ryan, that is next level trolling. Right there.
exactly, exactly, man. Come on, now you're the host. Do better, man. Okay.
So yeah, go back for those of you listening now. Go back and watch the other show, and just keep your eye on Kalechi. It is the funniest thing. It is so funny. All right.
So-
how many years have we been on now?
So
it's coming up on 3
version
for me
of
and
the
Ryan.
podcast has been on for like 6 years. The Combat Sports Talk's been around. This is the 10th year. In December will be our 10-year anniversary. So been around a long time.
We're gonna have to gather like blooper reels or something like that, to celebrate, or that would be nice. So to have that is one of the bloopers in there in case he get caught with a spoon in his mouth.
Oh man, just the KC camera bloopers. Because remember, he was also, whenever he thought that his camera was off, and he would go and do stuff, and then he'd come back.
Look, in my defense, my screen went black, so I assumed y'all couldn't see me.
My eyes are closed. Am I invisible?
They can't see me. They can't see
You got me. You got me.
Oh man. Oh my goodness.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and close the book on this
can't
one.
See me. Let's talk about Bilal.
Oh wow.
Oh,
nice.
Too soon.
Good one.
Man.
Good one.
So thankfully, he's getting his vision back. He's getting back to normal. Bilal Muhammad is one of my favorite fighters, who's kind of in that 10 to 15 range in the division. He's just a game fighter who's always there. And I really wanted to see what he could do against Leon Edwards. I know that he is kind of outmatched based upon the rankings, but I really do think that he is a fighter that would have made a very interesting fight, and it was a dangerous fight for Leon Edwards. So shout out to Leon Edwards for taking that fight. The question that we want to leave this segment with is, should the UFC require Leon Edwards to run this back with Bilal Muhammad, or should he get a title shot? We'll go with the guy who's shaking his head no, Kelechi Onyebuchi.
No, I think the division's too blocked up now for that fight to even matter. It's more important to get unstuck with the other fights that are ahead of this. Seeing that run back doesn't do anything, especially just the disparity in the rankings. There's no point. It doesn't advance what really needs to happen, which is an unblocking of the top 4 fighters there.
George.
I don't feel the need to see that fight, but I don't think that Leon deserves a title shot as a result.
All right, John Keys.
No, we don't need to see that fight again. Next time we need to see that fight is when Bilal earns the right to be right next to Leon in the ranks. To be quite honest, Leon deserves a title shot. He is undefeated, guys. He's on a mad win streak.
Okay, listen, just because you haven't fought in 600 days doesn't make you undefeated.
That's Ryan. He knows.
Yeah, right. But I am undefeated because the 2 times I fought you, I won. Now you'll have to take a drink.
He did that.
So,
Okay.
so for my point, I think they should run it back. Dana White said, and I know it's famous for last words whenever Dana White says, that if Leon Edwards wants the title shot, he should beat Bilal Muhammad. That should be easy money. That's easy money. You're fighting a number 13 guy, guaranteed shot at the title if you win. You haven't fought in 600 days, and you fight 5 minutes and poke a guy in the eye, and now you deserve a title shot? Come on. Charles Oliveira, y'all are trying to keep Charles Oliveira out of a title shot, and he has done way more than Leon Edwards has. I don't understand how Leon Edwards has earned a title shot with an eye poke and 600 days on the bench. He got to beat somebody.
Okay.
I just told you, I don't think he deserves a title shot.
Hold on, both of y'all. Okay, in the last 10 fights, he has only lost once. And guess who the person he lost to?
He hadn't fought in like 3 years.
The last 10 fights, the last person, he only lost once. And guess who that person was that he lost to?
Probably somebody who retired by now.
Kamaru Usman.
Called it.
Okay, this guy's he was on a tear before that. Okay, so I don't know what more does this guy need to beat, or you guys said he needs to beat Bilal Muhammad, and now that Dana's dangling a title shot in front of him, I'm like, what more does this man need to do? Okay, does he need to corner? Does he need to fight himself? I mean, seriously?
No, he needs to beat a number 13 guy.
Yeah, look at it even from his perspective, though. Like, you want to talk about ring rust. If it's been 600 days since you fought, take the easy money, run this fight back. Just because if you really believe yourself to be a top contender, fighting a number 13 guy should be nothing to you. Get it done in 2 rounds and move on.
Well, it wasn't nothing to him because he was beating the brakes on him. Okay, he was fixing to
I
beat him
don't
out.
disagree, but if you're trying to get tuned up for a title fight, take an extra fight. You're gonna make some more money anyway.
Okay.
And let's face it, the only fight he wants is already been booked. We'll talk about this later on in the show too. Kamaru Usman is going to be fighting freaking Jorge Masvidal. So
it's going to be wild.
What are you going to do? Fight Bilal Muhammad on the same card. Be the backup for that fight, and fight Bilal Muhammad. That way, if you win that fight, now you're next in line against Kamaru Usman, because Kamaru Usman is going to beat Jorge Masvidal. That's just
100%.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and close the book on this one. Put this one on the shelf. This card is history. Let's go into finding the angles. This is Finding the Angles. This is where we talk about the headlines that are making waves in the UFC world. Well, we're not going to do that just yet. We're going to hit the headliner because the number one thing I want to talk about is the thing that we didn't get to talk about because I wasn't here, and that is UFC 259. So let's talk about it. UFC 259 recap. We had 5 fights on that amazing card. We had 3 championship fights. Alexander Rakic versus Thiago Santos. Rakic, it was not a great fight. It was not a great fight. They just punched and kicked each other. No one really took any chances. But Rakic defeated Santos by unanimous decision, 29-28, 2-1 on 2 judges' scorecards, and a 30-27, which I didn't see, by 1 judge. Islam Makhachev defeated Drew Dober via submission. They're saying a Von Flue choke. 137 in round number 3. This fight was interesting because Drew Dober is such a game fighter. You know, we've seen him do some significant damage with that left hand, and so he's looking for that. And basically, Makhachev is, what part of that Dagestani gangster crew. Like I said on Twitter, that Islam Makhachev and those fighters from Dagestan are like the Pfizer vaccine. They're 95% effective, baby. And so he took Drew Dober down, and Drew Dober didn't have anything. I think Drew Dober probably could have finished that fight, but even though he was in the choke, and he just was like, there is nothing I can do to win this fight. I'm just going to tap.
And it's not like Drew Dober.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead, Ryan. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I just think that he was like, listen, I can't get out of this. There's nothing else I can do. This is it.
Yeah. And let's put it out there. It's not like Drew Dober can't wrestle. He can wrestle. Mm-hmm. It's just that Makhachev sat there and made him seem like he couldn't wrestle for anything. Like he had never been a wrestler in his life. That's how good Makhachev really is. And that's scary. Okay, because once again, part of that Dagestani crew, they'll put you on the ground and make you seem stupid. Sorry.
Yeah, and the current reigning undisputed lightweight champion Khabib Nurmagomedov was in his corner.
So it's Khabib
wrestling.
He smash. So is Khabib turning into the new Greg Jackson, where if he's in your corner, it's almost a guaranteed win? Is that what he's doing?
No. I think that's a different breed of fighter coming from Dagestan and Russia. You just need to have that pedigree. You gonna win. Rule number 1: take a drink.
I don't know that having Khabib in your corner is what makes you win. I think the qualities you have is what gets Khabib in your corner. Like, I don't know that he's doing a lot of coaching out there so much as just supporting his folks.
It's all in Russian anyway, so there's no way.
Yeah, we don't. Well, the world may never know until we get that little device that translates, and you can put it up against the screen and it translates for you. Well, the world may never.
We will know because we knew the disqualification for Peter Yan was because one of his coaches told him to knee
in Russian
that the knee was legal in Russian, so it can be known.
Yeah, well, but you know who told?
Well, guess who dropped the dime on that though?
Yeah, Khabib.
Khabib.
So let's talk about it. Peter Yan versus Aljamain Sterling. Of course, Aljamain Sterling defeated Peter Yan via disqualification, illegal knee, intentional illegal knee, at 4:29 in round number 4. Okay, being the only person, let's go back to the who picked what. John Keys was the only person to pick Aljamain Sterling.
Oh, he's about to break out the crow butt name.
I don't think that counts.
I don't want to play the crow button because Aljamain Sterling was losing that fight. Peter Yan
until he won it,
whooping him.
Okay, all right. So let's talk about this. See, I've been watching people. Yeah, that's right. That's right, Casey. Your mic got cut for some reason. I don't know why. All right, but yes, he was losing until he won. All right, remember that.
He was losing until his opponent lost.
He did win.
It's not a win.
No. Yeah, it is actually. Okay, and I'll explain to you why. Because he showed up on weight. He did not throw any illegal strikes. He did not do any eye pokes. His opponent, the champion, who is supposed to know these rules, who talked all this smack about destroying him, hit him with an illegal knee. That I'm sorry, you supposed to be the champion. You don't know the rules. Hey, play the game. Know the rules. You know
what I've just learned about you is that John is the type of person to call you out, say, "You want some of this?" Take you outside, kick you in the nuts, and then be like, "I won." I won.
Hold on. Did you stop fighting?
No.
Did you stop
You
fighting?
kick him in the nuts, and then he claims he won.
Yeah, because if I can, it depends. No, it's like this though. Everybody's jumping on Aljo because he's the champion, and everybody's giving him crap, but not too many people are giving Peter Yan crap. Peter Yan, you're the champion. You should have known better. Don't listen to you. You should have. I mean, maybe. Heck, I'll blame the entire team. I'll blame the entire Peter Yan's entire team.
Should have known better doesn't erase the fact that how handily he whooped the brakes off of his opponent. Like that doesn't go away just because of the illegal knee.
Let's
back up for a second. This fight started out with Aljo pressuring Peter Yan like crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but Peter was not winning that fight at first. He started coming on stronger later in the fight and turned it around. But let's not mistake what was happening. Aljo came out and put a pace and a pressure on Peter that he wasn't ready for right out the gate. And it took some adjustments and some other things for Peter to get it going, basically.
Round number 1, you're absolutely right. But don't forget, Peter Yan knocked Aljamain Sterling down in round number 2, and then Aljamain kind of started to gas in round number 3. And by the 4th round, Peter Yan was landing trips and sweeps like Aljamain is getting dropped on his head. Like,
okay, he
turned
it up.
A wrestler.
It would have. So we were looking at a potential two rounds apiece going into the 5th. Okay,
no, it was 3-1.
Well, you got to remember we got Vegas judges, so it could have been 2-2.
Yeah.
So call it 2-2, but a champion showed up in the champion rounds, right?
Yep,
we can't deny that.
Yeah, but
we can't deny that
until he decided it was time to throw illegal shots.
Yeah, it's time to eat the knee. Okay, yeah. I got
By
this. I
any
got this
means
borscht. I got this
necessary.
borscht flavored knee here, and you're gonna get some of this. Okay,
Yeah,
that's what he did.
Yeah, it was one of those where he was gonna take a knee, and it's like, no, not that kind of knee.
Yo, take
Like
this.
no. But
So-
yeah, so I mean, all kidding aside, though, yeah, I do believe. I mean, only person I blame fault for this. I do not blame. Well, I also put a little blame on the judge for giving Aljo the chance to sit there and decide what he wanted to do. Don't give it to the fighter. Judge,
Fighter.
make the
You need to be the one to
decision.
make.
Anthony
Yeah,
Refs
judge
make the
Lionheart
decision.
Smith
Yeah,
went on record and said that was some weak sauce by Mark Smith, in so much as it was Mark Smith could clearly see that he had warned Peter Yan that it was an illegally thrown knee. It landed, and clearly Aljamain Sterling was affected by the strike. That's all you need as the referee to end the fight. So for him to sit there and mill around, I think that it is fair to say that he didn't want to be the person to call that fight. He didn't want to make that call.
Yeah. I mean, this throws back to shades of Diego Sanchez. You know, when he was given the opportunity, hey, you know, do you want to quit? Well, if I stop, do I win? No, man. You make the decision right there. Judge, make the decision. All right. You're not going to be. Nobody's going to be happy with your results, so you might as well make the results that you're going to be able to sleep with that night.
All right, go ahead, Kelechi.
Oh, I just want to interject and say that Anthony Lionheart Smith, though a valiant warrior in the cage, has no input whatsoever when it comes to officiating a match. Like,
Okay.
my guy is losing teeth talking about, like, no, let it go on. Like, bruh, take a seat.
Hey, but guess what?
You keep on, you're gonna catch that smoke over there, KC.
I
You know he already
right?
hot
That
with
time
you.
is real.
I mean, I don't want to see him on the screen right now. That's what I'm saying.
I'll just call John Jones for backup.
I mean, seriously though,
Boy,
don't be
I
mad
wish
at mine.
Anthony would call in right now. Just pop up
Yeah,
on E-Cam, be like, "What you talking about, old man?"
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Like, you want some of this smoke?
Nope.
Oh,
No.
but see,
Oh, yeah.
but no, Lionheart is actually the perfect example of that because he was willing to call it to die in that ring. It was a judge decision to sit there and say, "No, bruh, you are done for the night. Go sit your butt down on that chair." Okay.
Let's recall that we're watching sports, not people like dying. Like, I don't sign up for my UFC Fight Pass and ESPN Plus to watch people die. I show up for a sport. Like,
Apparently,
all this
John-
over hype talk about, like, oh, go out on your shield. Like, if someone dies, I'm done watching. Like, I'm done.
All I'm gonna say is, if he dies, he dies.
All right, drag off.
All kidding aside, all kidding aside, I do want to see violence. That's what I watched it from UFC 1. UFC 1 was about that life. Okay, there was guys going in that first kick of the night. Dude got his teeth kicked into one of the commentators. Okay, that's what it's all about. I'm sorry, people. We watch
Wasn't there,
people.
like, a
we
story
watch
about-
fight.
Be sorry.
That is the reason why we have World Star Hip Hop to watch them ratchet fights. That is the reason why we watch UFC. That's the reason why we watch Bareknuckle UFC, because we want to see violence. Okay, you can sugarcoat
Highlight it,
all
make
you
it change
want.
colors.
We're
You
making
can
it flash.
sugarcoat it all you want to. That's what we do because we as a society love it. We love the violence.
I do think that we
This
as a
is
society love the violence. It's definitely one of those things where Dana White has said many times that the most primal, base emotion for humans is the art of battle. That's we are hunters, we are fighters. That's what we do. But
Since Cain bopped Abel, I'm telling you.
but I don't agree that we need to be looking for people to actually die, that we should somehow celebrate death in the ring. That seems like a bridge too far.
I mean, is that what they want? Is that what they want? Is that what the fighter wants?
Yeah.
If the fighter says, I want to die a glorious death, and, another philosophical debate for another day. I'm sorry, people.
So
Get him, Lepetolite. Get him.
Lepetolite says, spoken like a wrestling fan. I don't know who he's referring to. I'm assuming he's spoken.
You know who he's talking about.
John Keys.
Like I said, Lepetolite, we can have. Hey, I'm just saying it. You call it me out. But I'm just saying. Here we are talking about fighting. It is fighting. Okay, it's not wrestling. This is fighting. Straight up.
Let's be pragmatic, though. Like, not even in the medical profession can you allow someone to just kill themselves. Like, there's no part of society where we're just like, oh, this person wants to go out this way, so let's just do it. Like, no, that's not the society we live in. Like, what are you talking about?
Oh,
we just like, if he wants to go out on a shield, we let him.
This is so morbid. This is so morbid. But
do we want to go down this rabbit hole, or do y'all want to go back?
We can't go down this rabbit hole because we got too much more information to cover.
Yeah,
but it is essentially saying if a person jumped off a bridge and didn't finish the job, the cops are like, well, he meant to do it, so let's just finish him off. Like, no, that's not what the cops are supposed to do. They're supposed to call the ambulance and try to save the life. That is the purpose of the referee. To protect the fighter, not to.
I never
said.
Hold on. Y'all see, this is where y'all see. Once again, this is where y'all misconstrue me. I never said it was. I always said it was the ref's job to stop the fight. Okay, it's not up to the fighter to. It's up to the fighter. The fighter's job is to fight. It is the ref's job to stop them when it's enough. Okay, I have never said the ref should just be like, well, there it is.
Have you spoken to Herb Dean lately? When was the last time you explained that to Herb Dean, though?
Herb just let a few shots in and be like, yeah. Oh, wait a minute, I'm the judge. Oh, my bad. Okay, and then comes in there.
Herb Dean is like, okay, that's enough, but not enough for me. So let's go a little bit more. Let's go another further.
He was kind of vocal on this last UFC. I'm telling you, he was. I love it. The fact that we don't have fans in there because we can really hear what they're saying. And Herb, the Predator, was out there in the ring on the other night. So, he ain't taking no jive from anybody. So.
Well, another person who's not taking no jive from anybody is Amanda Nunes. Her dispatching of Megan Anderson was so quick and efficient that, like. It was laughable to me. Like, I was trying not to laugh because, man in the ring mantra and all that kind of stuff. It was laughable because you see them square off in the ring, and Megan Anderson is so much bigger, so much taller and longer, and just looks like twice Amanda Nunes' size. And it took 2 overhand rights and a takedown, and it was like the fight's over.
Yeah, it was.
I was out for Megan Anderson.
Yeah, you seen Lambs to the Slaughterhouse.
Whoever said "dead man walking" was not right. When she was walking, that was not right.
That was you. Okay, that was you.
Dead man walking.
All right. I'll say it, I chose Megan Anderson. I chose Hope against Hope because I was like, maybe she got a chance, maybe she got the size, maybe she ain't have nothing. Okay, she had nothing against Amanda Nunes. Amanda Nunes went in there, just punched her one time, and it was pretty much Megan was like, oh, where am I? And it was over after that. Okay, so Amanda put her in a submission that I hadn't seen since the Pride days. Okay,
let's get that drop, George. Come on.
I'm just cracking up on Lepetolite. Tell that person to slap himself.
Come on, you're the one to introduce that to us. So give us that quote. I need to get that isolated.
Which quote? Which quote?
Slap yourself.
Point me out. Slap yourself.
Hey, I'll play devil's advocate. I don't care. That's just my thing. But all I'm saying
that's not devil's advocate. There was no chance.
that was a pity vote.
There's always a chance. There's always a puncher's chance. Ask Matt Serra about that. Okay, there's always a puncher's chance. It just wasn't. It was a very slim chance that night. Okay,
right?
Like
Did
I
he
said,
really pick Megan Anderson? Is my first question.
He did. He
Yes,
really
I did.
pick
Right?
Megan
I did.
Anderson.
All right,
I really
all right,
did.
all right.
It is.
I didn't remember that.
On wax.
Like,
I think there has to be safety rails in place when we make picks. Like, if you make a ridiculous pick like that, it just defaults to a no contest. Like, it doesn't count.
Hold on. Now, my question
for
is,
your own
what
good.
would have? Okay, what would have happened had she actually won? Okay, y'all would be sitting here looking silly. Okay,
The world
all
would
I'm
have
saying
ended.
is
The polar ice caps would have melted.
we're close to all that.
Yeah,
Hold on, don't
Time
play.
Continuum ends.
You know, hey, we're close to all that. Let's not play. Okay, so
Singularity is just. Whoop.
in all fairness, hey, she jumped in the ring. They closed it up. She said she was ready, even though her walk-in into the stadium showed that she looked like a deer in headlights. Okay, that is beyond all the points. Okay, so with that said, you know, she said that she was ready. They closed the gates, and it was what it was. I feel I have no shame in my pick. Okay, because every now and then you just got to pick the underdog. She was the heavy underdog. Okay, you know.
I love that we're getting these. There you go.
Wow, Kalechi, really? Is this what we're doing? Is this what we're doing tonight? Okay.
Man, it's salty up in here. It's salty.
Man, my blood pressure getting high with all this salt.
Megan Anderson is no longer in the UFC. That was her 6th fight, and she had a 6-fight contract, and so she is not re-signing with the UFC, at least for the time being. She says she has some injuries she wants to get worked on. She wants to see what she's going to do with her career. She's been to the mountaintop. There's nowhere else to go here. She saw how far away she is. Fighting women in the UFC just to get back to that butt whipping, that ain't for her. She could go back to Invicta. The UFC didn't re-sign her, but at the same time, it looks like she wasn't leaping at the chance to re-sign either. But you know,
because if I remember correctly, she said that she had some injuries and she wanted to heal herself before she gets back into the market, if you will.
Cleanse yourself in the waters of Lake.
Y'all so awful tonight. Y'all awful tonight. Man, that's so harsh. So harsh.
Psychology to get over a beating like that. Like, I don't know that she returns the same, even if she was given a chance. Like, that was a completely demoralizing butt whooping. Like, it's tough. It's tough to come back from that, knowing that you're not at that person's level.
I don't even think there's going to be a division there for her to come back to be quite honest. Okay, there, you know, even though Dana sat there and said we'll keep it open as long as she wants to keep it open, they're not signing any fighters to fight her.
There's nobody else. There's nobody else. There's one other fighter that she doesn't fight in the UFC, and that's Chris Cyborg. That's the only person I think outside of Valentina Shevchenko who's already lost twice. Like I don't see that there's anybody else that you can put up against Amanda Nunes, especially at 145. You know, and I think Lopitolite asked a good question. Why would you not want to re-sign with the UFC, and why would you want to fight with Invicta? Because you can beat the talent in Invicta. You were the 145 champion in Invicta.
Right. She was the champion in Invicta before she came to UFC. It happens all the time. These former champions in these other divisions come to the UFC and they get to that plateau where they're just not up to spar.
Yeah.
That's just how it goes, man.
Go ahead, Kalechi.
Yeah, Kalechi. You seem
he said spar, and I just wanted to call him out because it's par.
Par. My bad.
I am on one today.
I thought he was just giving a different take on it. I thought he was just,
he just
thought he was adapting it. I thought he was adapting it to MMA.
Vindictive.
Yeah, okay.
No, but real talk though, like 145 was built for Cyborg to get a crown that she rightfully deserved. At this point, the division's been run through. There's nothing exciting to have. Like I think Amanda has stamped it with her seal and that there will be none greater than her at that 145, like, let's close the book on that. There's not a lot of follow-up talent that can reach the level that Amanda's at in the next couple of years to keep that interesting. So I think Amanda has effectively put her stamp on that division and closed it down.
So
and there will be no shame in that.
The UFC said they're going to keep it open for as long as she wants to fight. Everyone's talking about Kayla Harrison, who is the 145 PFL champ, possibly fighting Amanda Nunes. They asked Amanda Nunes about it. Amanda said that Kayla Harrison is a game opponent. However, Kayla Harrison is Amanda Nunes' training partner. They're in the same team. And so Amanda Nunes did not rule out the fact that she would fight her teammate for the 145 title if it ever came to that. But Kayla Harrison is under contract with the PFL and is going to be fighting in their next season of the PFL here in 2021. So let's go on to the main event of the evening. Jan Blachowicz defeated Israel Adesanya via unanimous decision.
That hurt my soul.
Let's go ahead and look at who picked whom.
Whom?
You knew
I believe
that
you
was
mean
coming first.
whom.
I said whom. I said whom. Because my grammar is on point, just like my picks.
That's what I do.
That's what I do.
Boo that man.
Oh my God.
Let's see here. It appears to me that the entire team, even Lepidolite, John Keys, George Stallworth.
You calling out viewers too, huh? You just gonna do it like that, huh?
Everybody can get it. Everybody get that crow.
I need to put some respect on my fucking name.
Come on, let me hit a third one. I know you got another one in there.
I know he does.
It is what it is.
Got a Michelle Obama too. There it is.
Wow, he just got the whole Obama family just up in there, huh?
Listen up. This is your only chance to apologize.
I'm so mad at you right now for having a soundboard.
Oh, yeah. Man, I am telling you, go back and watch me do, because, okay, so let me set the scene for you. I am in Topeka, Kansas. I talked the hotel to give me a meeting room so that I could broadcast the fight live for the main event. And so I am watching this fight, and I am like losing it going, is Jan Blachowicz winning this fight? Is he winning this fight? I'm like, I can't believe it. And Daniel Cormier is like, here's your Adesanya. Clearly has this one. And I'm like, am I the only one who thinks Jan Blachowicz won this fight? And so when he won the fight, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. That's right. So go back and watch me reacting to finding out that I got to clown y'all on this show just now.
Yeah,
see what had happened.
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
So
hey, there's no
question.
shame in that. Israel's still champ. That's all I care about.
But it goes to show that move up from 185 to 205, which is the big thing that I was concerned about, it's a big leap. It's a big leap. And to go from 185 to 205 and face the champion at 205, that is a big jump. And so I was concerned that the size was going to be the difference maker, and ultimately it did prove that was true.
But do you believe that Israel was outmatched?
No, Israel was a game opponent. He made a great fight of it, but at the end of the day, I know Dana White was upset that some of the judges had it 4-1. I had it 4-1.
And some of the judges had 10-8.
I didn't have any 10-8 rounds, but I did have it 4-1, and I know that Dana had it 3-2, but outside that first round was very close, but after that, I mean, it was just one of those things where I saw that Blachowicz did enough to win each one of those rounds, and by 4 and 5, he scored those takedowns. And even though he didn't do a whole lot of damage, he basically controlled Israel Adesanya. And Israel Adesanya's ground game, I felt like it was suspect. Like, if you listen to me on the broadcast from that night, I'm looking at Israel and in half guard. He didn't even lock down the leg. Like, it was wide open. His half guard was wide open. If Jan Blachowicz was an actual grappler, he could have easily passed to side control to mount. I think that we did see Israel Adesanya's ground game exposed. It's always been a question of whether or not Israel had a ground game. And while Jan Blachowicz said, well, yeah, he was crafty in the grappling exchanges, we saw Israel on his back and could not get up. Now, was it the fact that Jan Blachowicz is weighing 215 at this point and just trying to get up from that bigger body on top of him was a problem? Or is it that Israel really needs more work on the ground because most of his fights stay on the feet?
It's a little bit of both.
Agree
I would say I would say it's more so the weight factor in that particular one, because he's shown his ground skills at 185. We have seen him on the ground at 185.
I don't remember seeing him on the ground.
There's been exchanges with him on the ground at 185. But I do think the weight factor is what this was. This was a 220 plus pound man laying on top of him, and even in that, it's not like Jan was doing a lot of damage to him in those ground with the ground and pound. It was really just being controlled. Mm-hmm. So I'm not saying that Izzy's ground game is suspect just off that. I can see as a weight issue.
I think that could be enough to frustrate a person, because I mean, as one that I had a friend who used to wrestle, who I used to train with, it's frustrating. It got me frustrated when he would just keep me pinned, and that's basically what Jan was doing. He was frustrated. What? What's up?
Lepetolite even just put in. He said, "Yeah, Gaslam took him down for a bit, and Izzy used a triangle to stand up."
Yeah.
Well, okay.
And Gaslam is a wrestler.
Yeah.
Even bigger facts.
Okay.
Well, it could be that it could have been that he just faced a guy that was heavier, and the more weight actually put him in, I won't say a panic mode, but maybe more of a frustrated place.
I think we've gotten a little spoiled in the UFC with these super fights, in the notion that just because you're a champ, you can move up and be champ at another division. I think this was a good level set to just really show that this isn't common for you to be able to dominate your whole division and then dominate another one. Like, this is probably the right level setting of maybe you should be forced to take a fight before you're taking on the champion of another division. It's not saying that you're bad, but it's just it's a different level of competition. Like, yes, it's happened before, but that's not the norm, or shouldn't be the norm.
It should not be the norm. It should not be the measure. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The measure of a champion should be the fact that you clear out your division, you welcome all comers, and you put them in their place. That is the measure of a champion, and you do it with style, you do it with humility, and you do it consistently. That's the measure of a champion. It should not be the fact that you can jump up to a different weight class and do it. GSP stayed at welterweight for the entire career, retired, and then went to challenge at middleweight. That's fine, but in welterweight, he was the king. At this moment, John Jones stayed at 205 and totally evolved that entire division. Okay, he took on all comers. He cleaned out the division. He took all comers and put them in their place. That is a champion.
And then, and vacated the belt and said, "I'm going to heavyweight."
And that's a way to do it. If you clean out your division, you've done everything you need to do, and say, you know what, I'm going to the next level. That's okay. All right, that's respectable. I can't believe I just said that about John Jones.
Well, didn't John have 2 losses?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, Matt Ham.
So we're gonna say
loss.
who's the Swedish folk? I'm blanking on his name.
Gustafsson.
Swedish guy.
Alex
Alexander Gustafsson. Yeah.
He technically won the fight.
One loss.
But some people feel Dominic Reyes beat him too.
So I don't believe that Alexander Gustafsson won the first fight, but I do believe Dominic Reyes beat John Jones based on my scoring system, Combat Sports Talk official scoring system. I scored Dominic Reyes winning that fight. But you know, it never leave it in the hands of the judges. A few things. Since we're talking about John Jones, do we all agree that the John Jones Izzy super fight is done?
I think so. John's not going to cut that weight now that he claims he's 261. Come on, fam. 261. He's not going back down to 205.
Well, I just don't think that. I mean, I agree with Daniel Cormier in the fact that John Jones is too big. That if you think that Jan Blachowicz, who's not a wrestler, could do that against Izzy, when you put John Jones, who's longer and taller and all of these other things, I just don't think that's a fight that I would be interested in seeing. I don't think that's a good fight.
I would be interested in a pure kickboxing fight between the two of them at 205.
Yeah.
I think their striking is so dynamic that could be fun. But in true MMA, Izzy isn't well-rounded enough.
There it is.
But
anybody have a renewed respect for Jan Blachowicz?
No. That's what you're supposed to do when you're the champ at 205, fighting a smaller dude.
Come on now. That's one of those lose-lose kind of propositions. Because
it was for him.
Jan Blachowicz is the champ, came in as the underdog. Let's remember, he was the underdog. And
you picked him.
Boy, he's a bigger fighter. He's the bigger fighter. Yeah. If he would have lost, he'd have been like, "What is your, Jan Blachowicz? You were the bigger fighter." It's like it's a lose-lose for him.
Would have been like, "Pay me my money."
But I'm gonna tell you why I picked Jan Blachowicz. It has nothing to do with weight classes. It has nothing to do with that. It's everything to do with Polish voodoo and that.
Hey, dude, nobody. Hey,
dude.
Lepidolite and you are just in sync on this.
Yeah, and I'm going to ask the question: did anybody see that rope on the way to the ring?
I think he had it, didn't he?
No, he did not. He did not have that for obvious reasons. As I think George pointed out to me, he shouldn't have brought a noose to the ring. Okay, I don't think that would have went well.
It's a rope. It's a rope from the noose. If you've seen it, it's a really cool piece now that he's turned into a piece of jewelry. So what it is
where does he wear this jewelry?
On his wrist.
Okay.
So basically, what they did was
they got worried there for a second.
I was like, I don't know.
It's a piece of rope about this long. Maybe 6 inches or so. And they've wrapped it with no, I'm not going there. You set me up. I'm not going to do it. They've wrapped it with like wool or yarn or something like that. So it's wrapped with wool or yarn, and then it's got a clasp, like a dragon-headed clasp on either end, and so it's worn as a bracelet. It's actually a really cool piece of jewelry. And that's what he wears, and that's what he brings with him, I guess, for as long as it has luck, right? And it was funny because they asked Israel Adesanya about it, and he goes, "Yeah, I'm well aware of kind of this Polish voodoo." He goes, "But I'm from Nigeria. We got our own stuff too." He says, "Maybe I need to bring some of that with me." Maybe he should have brought some.
Okay, so I see the picture of it. It actually looks pretty nice. It looks like a snake, really. The way it's blue, it's red, black, and blue, like a coral snake design. And it's actually kind of cool. I didn't see it on him though. I didn't see it on him on the way to the ring though.
Well, I don't think
night.
He can bring. That's probably
I think he could walk up with it, but I think he has to take it off before he goes in. I think.
I don't think he brought it. I don't think he wore it.
Well, yeah, we'll have to look.
Give us a cultural awareness moment.
Oh, my bad.
This is your cultural awareness moment. It would be called juju, not magic. Just so you know.
Okay.
That's all I
been
got.
your cultural awareness moment. All right. Let's see here. Let's go on to some of the other stories. We talked about it a little bit. Twitter reacts to full capacity UFC 261 with Usman Masvidal rematch. 3 title fights in Florida. So you got Usman versus Masvidal. You got Shevchenko versus Andrade, and then you've got Zhang Weili versus Rose Thug No Hair Namajunas. All in one card.
So, I got to listen to Ariel Helwani right before our show, and he was kind of doing a deep dive on those top 3 matches there, and really doesn't anticipate an upset except for maybe the Andrade fight having some a lot more competitiveness than we initially thought. But I mean, as far as stacking a card to get people in, that's the one. But I think at the very top of that, that's a killer one with a lot of steam. Probably as much steam as we had with Usman and
Colby.
What's that?
Covington.
Yeah, Usman and Covington. I think it has that same vibe. I think Covington's kind of talked himself out of being relevant, plus just cultural shifts since then. But being able to pack a stadium in Florida, you couldn't ask for a better card.
Dude, and the fact that most of those top 2 fighters train out of Florida.
Yep.
Hometown
It's
hero.
a great
I mean,
card.
it's going to be a great super spreader event for sure.
Oh yeah,
a lot of
definitely.
people are getting sick, baptized.
Yeah, if we're gonna have an explosion of a virus outbreak, that's the place to go. So not only are you gonna see a great fight, you're gonna see the Spanish flu all in one place. Okay, trust me, it's not gonna be pretty. It'll be a pretty fight. Not the after effects though. Yeah, Dr. Fauci's gonna be upset.
Bruh, from what I've seen though, Florida's COVID numbers aren't any worse than anywhere else.
Yet.
Somebody pull up the facts.
I said from what I've
Somebody
seen, Florida's number, and to make it even worse, Florida has an elderly population. Like if anybody is vulnerable and should be dying, it should be Floridians.
Hold on. How many elderly people are you expecting to go to a UFC fight night? I mean, for real, that would be dope.
In general,
Don't get me wrong. If we had an elderly section
that has a population that is prone to pass away from COVID, it is Florida, and Florida is wide open. They're more wide open than Texas, and we the wild west.
Okay, trust me. Dana White is like, watch this. Okay, trust me. If you don't know, y'all gonna know in a minute. Okay,
well, and that's one of the things that that we were talking about with the UFC in that when Greg Abbott, who's the president or the governor of Texas, said that Texas was kind of open for business, that was ending the mask mandate and all that kind of stuff. Dana White was like, "I'm coming to Texas. Let me find a place." And then it was like all the mayors in Texas like, "Well, you're not coming to my city because we're keeping that mask mandate." And I thought it was pretty hilarious when Dana White was like, "Yeah, Greg Abbott says that Texas is open, but Texas ain't open." And he said that because he was like, the mayors have not opened their cities for the UFC to find a large enough venue to be able to hold it. Because you want to have a card like this in a Dallas or an Austin or Houston, and those 3 cities are like, we're just because the state says that the mask mandate is over doesn't mean that we're going to open up our cities. And so as a result, you find the UFC going to Florida. All right.
Yeah, about that.
Valentina Shevchenko believes Rose Thug No Hair Namajunas is going to beat Zhang Weili. And she says that even if Zhang Weili wins that fight, she's not necessarily interested in fighting Zhang Weili right now because, of course, everyone wants to set up that Zhang Weili Shevchenko super fight, another kind of matchup. Like even though the weights are a lot closer, these ladies who fight at 115 going up to 125, a lot of these fighters are 125 fighters who can cut to 115. So Valentina is like I'm not interested right now in fighting Zhang Weili even if she does beat Rose Thug No Hair Namajunas, but I don't think she will.
Interesting.
We got a new fight. We got new fights planned for UFC 262. Beneil Dariush in his last fight said he wants some top tier talent. He's tired of fighting fighters below him. He wants to fight a fighter ahead of him. And so Tony Ferguson said, "I'll be your Huckleberry." So we got Beneil Dariush versus Tony Ferguson at UFC 262. We're going to see if Beneil Dariush can continue his rise or if Tony Ferguson can get back into his winning ways. Another fight that we've got on the horizon, potentially, is Michael Chandler versus Justin Gaethje.
Okay.
So, y'all were calling for it. Y'all were saying that, we need to see this, this lightweight division kind of shake out. Well, Michael Chandler versus Justin Gaethje is a clear number one contender eliminator fight. Like, winner out of that fight should get a shot at the title against Charles Oliveira.
And that's going to be a brutal fight. I mean, that guarantees brutal.
I like how you snuck that in there.
I missed it.
Charles Oliveira.
Uh,
Well, I think the dude, like once again, you're like Leon Edwards deserves a title shot. What more does he need to do? What more does Charles Oliveira need to do?
Exactly. I agree with that.
But Charles Oliveira didn't poke Tony Ferguson in the eye.
Smack yourself.
Charles Oliveira actually beat Tony Ferguson.
Smack yourself with the left and the right hand.
I'm not hearing this. Okay. Coach, come on, man. Okay.
Dude, I'm just not sold on Oliveira, man. Kudos to him. He's put on some winning ways here recently, but
so whose arm he's got to take home? Okay. Who he got to choke out? Tell me. Tell us. Tell the combat sports world. Who else he got to beat?
I'm just saying right now, until we figure out what Khabib's going to do, 155 is in a, I guess you call it a holding pattern.
Yep. Well, I've been on it long enough, so I'm going to make it official. I'm on the Charles Oliveira hype train. All aboard! So that dude needs a title shot. We don't know when it's going to be up for grabs. That's the problem. Is that Lapidolite's asking, well, when is the title going to be up for grabs? When Dana White gives up his pipe dream that Khabib Nurmagomedov is coming back. He is not. This is not.
It's so funny to see Khabib play the ex-girlfriend showing up at the party still. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I'm done. I'm the ex, but guess what? I'm coming to the wedding. He's showing up. He's cornering other fighters and stuff. He's got what is it called? The EFL or EFC, the Eagle Fighting Championship.
Yeah.
That he's putting together. Like, he is really being the ex-girlfriend that you can't get rid of.
Right.
She's letting you know she's there all the time. Okay.
He's producing lookalikes, man. I mean, he's got Islam Makhachev. Then he's got his younger brother, like I think his name Usman Nurmagomedov or something like that. He's coming in there. You got a ton of people that are, that are coming out of Dagestan that could easily get back in the at lightweight. Dana White bet $1 million. He said it was a throwaway comment because I bet $1 million that Jake Paul loses to Ben Askren, and then everybody jumped in trying to take it seriously. Like Jake Paul's like, I'll take that bet. I'll bet you $2 million. I hear Snoop Dogg's trying to get in on that for like $2 million. The Triller, the promotion is trying to bet $10 million on Jake Paul, and they said that they want to also produce the fight Jake Paul versus Dana White if they can do that. What do you think about this? I absolutely hate these YouTubers getting all this publicity for fighting people that are not boxers. Like, fight a real fighter.
Well, Ben Askren is
I
a
think
real
we got to
fighter.
get.
Not a boxer.
What's that?
You said fight a real fighter. Ben Askren is a real fighter.
He's a real fighter, but
But
he's not a boxer.
No
Yeah.
doubt,
I
but
think
neither
we gotta
is what's his name, Jake Paul.
Yeah, but okay, so we got Zab Judah, all right, which is a fun. Hey, he's an excellent boxer from his time, and I use excellent very loosely. He freaking dynamite. He's saying that he has hands. Okay, when you have a boxer of that caliber saying that this YouTuber has hands, do we take that seriously, or is he just hyping it up?
I take it serious.
You know, dang! Look at that. The coach is like, I mean, because
Smack yourselves.
I don't know, man. I mean, I don't like Jake Paul. I don't like Logan Paul. You know, exactly, Lapedia. Like, Zab Judah was a great boxer. It is a great boxer. He probably go in there and duke us all out. All right, but if he's saying that Jake Paul has got hands, I'm gonna listen to him, because he's really putting up his word up upon anybody, saying that, hey, this guy got something. Now, does he have does he have Ben Askren's level of boxing? Because you know, a boxer, I mean,
Askren
he's a fighter.
Ben Askren does not
But
have
I
any
think
boxing
Ben
skills
Askren has
whatsoever.
more boxing than Jake Paul. I think he has a little bit more skill, you know.
No,
his chin ain't is suspect, but you know.
Well, I think that Ben Askren has probably a pretty good chin. I mean, unless you throw a knee at it. But at the same time, I want to see how Zab Judah said it. Like, did he say, no, yo, this guy's got hands, or is it like, yeah, this guy's got hands?
No. He was like, yo, this guy actually got hands.
I saw the interview. It was like the first one. But at the same time, I did also feel like he was pumping up the fight, and because boxing has this thing going on right now where it's in competition with MMA and other combat sports, and it hasn't fared well in comparison. And so, yes, former boxers and everybody else are going to hype up these fights. It's no different than, well, like you said, the Triller fight with Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. You know, Mike Tyson got hands. Roy Jones Jr. got hands as well right now. I mean, but I don't know, man. This is not a fight that I'm really interested in watching, but I'm going to be happy to hear about the outcome one way or the other.
Agree.
How seriously do y'all think that Askren is taking this fight? Because he's been known to just kind of,
Oh, he's trained with Freddie Roach.
I think
he trained with Freddie Roach.
He
remember what Freddie Roach did for MMA?
He went to see Freddie Roach once or twice. I wouldn't call it training with Freddie Roach.
It's not the same.
I thought he trained for like
it's
a
not
week
the
with
same.
him. I thought he took him for a week.
Still, that bruh.
It's not enough of a training camp to take on a dude who's been
number
living
one.
and breathing.
You hear fighters talk about it all the time. In a camp, when you're in camp, that is not the time to be trying to pick up new skills.
Mm-hmm.
It is not. That's not what you do. In a camp, you focus on the fighter. You key in on the own tools that you already have available to you, and you work that. Picking up new skills in the camp is a recipe for a loss.
There you go. That's
big
from the coach.
Well, I will say this about Freddie Roach. He did give MMA the greatest weapon of all time. He taught George St. Pierre the jab, how to do an effective jab. All right. That's all I'm going to say.
One comment to end this, like I'll go for it.
I was going to say, what I can say, though, is Ben Askren doesn't have a half-bad striking coach already. He's got the same striking coach that Tyron Woodley had, Duke Rufus.
Okay.
Oh, you mean
Duke,
just stand
Duke's
against the cage and throw one punch?
Duke is not a bad striking coach. Don't get me wrong. He's not. And you know, I can understand why Ben would go and seek out some counsel on boxing specific, and I'm sure Duke probably told him to go do that as well. But new skills are not what you want to be picking up in a camp. You need to focus in on what you already do well or what you already have, bring to the table and try to hone that, not build new skills. And I don't know what Freddie Roach worked with him on. Freddie probably did the same thing. He probably said, okay, let's see what you got and let's try to hone that and make it razor sharp.
Yeah.
All right. You get the last word, Casey.
With a nose for finding victories, the Nostradamus would like to officially put it out here that FanDuel is welcome to sponsor this podcast.
Seriously,
Wow.
that was it.
That was it. That's what we
I
got.
mean, if everyone's throwing big money out there, like those are the only winners.
So while we talking about sponsorships, I can't bring up the
No,
company I want to sponsor.
No,
You
dog.
sure? I mean, I got the box right here.
No.
No, we good,
All
dog. We good. We're good.
Oh my gosh. All right, let's
got Brian
continue
over there
on.
sweating.
Has anybody heard about Dan Hardy getting separated from the UFC? Basically, he got into it. I've heard all kinds of things. I haven't really gotten the full story, but he got into it with a UFC staffer. It blew up. He got his privileges revoked. Some people say that he lost his contract with the ESPN. People are saying BT Sport is kind of distancing from him, and it's all spiraling downhill. Just at a time when Dan Hardy was investigating whether or not he was going to come back and actually start fighting again.
So, Ryan, what's the story you're hearing? What are you hearing about this?
So, basically he had a dispute with an employee at the UFC. It's not really clear about what that dispute was about. And so if any of you guys have seen what it is, basically it must have blown up. And it, the person was afraid because, of course, an angry UFC fighter is not someone you want to have in your face. I believe that it might have been a female employee who caught the wrath of Dan Hardy, and as a result, the UFC and I believe ESPN separated from Dan Hardy.
Mm.
Interesting.
I have no problem with it. Actions have consequences.
Yep.
And so, because it is so, they are keeping this very hush hush. People aren't really talking about what it is that happened. So I'm hoping that we get more information about what happened. I'm hoping that Ariel Helwani will break that. Come on, Ariel, do your thing.
Wow.
All right, Derek Lewis shared his favorite knockout with Joe Rogan. What do you think it was?
Well, the original one or the most recent one?
The one that he told Joe Rogan.
He told him about both. His favorite one originally was when he knocked out what's his name, Travis. But now apparently it's the who was it, Olenek or
Volkov. Alexander
Volkov.
Because he was losing that fight. We remember that was that fight that Derek Lewis was losing he was losing the entire fight, and then with 14 seconds left, he lands a knockout punch. Boom. Boom. Rocked him.
There it is.
Boom! Rocked him.
How did you do that?
Magic.
He just said it without moving his lips. To use that juju.
Straight juju.
So,
juju on the beat.
For years, we have been talking about Rose Thug No Hair Namajunas, but we are about to talk about her little brother, Nojas Namajunas, getting ready to make his professional MMA debut in Logan, Utah, for Mountain Force MMA.
Nobody cares.
He looks
wow,
just like
dog,
just
really?
like him.
He does look. He does.
He looks like they look like brother and sister. Yeah, that's the only difference. He's got a beard and a mustache, and same haircut. Everything. They might be twins.
Everything else the same. Yeah.
It might be twins.
We would be remiss if we didn't talk about the 2-fight contract deal between Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua that's been signed. So we can guarantee that the first fight will be a draw.
Call it like it is. Tell it like it is.
There it is. The first fight will be a draw, so we'll watch the second one. I'm predicting it now. And since we're talking about boxing, I think to end this segment off, we should express our condolences for Marvelous Marvin Hagler, who passed away at the age of 66. One of the great fighters of the 80s.
Just the 80s? Is that what we're going to give him? Just
well, I mean, that was his reign of terror, right? Like that was his time. I mean, maybe he fought in the 90s, but the 80s was his decade.
Yeah. Oh,
that what was it? It was him, Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns. It was all of them. I mean, there were so many of those. Like they must have fought 5 or 6 different times each between those. It was just that was. So, to see that he has passed away, it's a big loss for the boxing community, but combat sports as a whole. And so our condolences go out to the family of Marvelous Marvin Hagler. All right. That is it for Finding the Angles. We're going into our last segment of the day, and that is the fight card. All right, this is the fight card. This is where we look at the fights coming up this weekend. UFC Vegas 22, Brunson versus Holland. Saturday, March 20th at the Apex Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. We have 6 fights on the card. Most of these fighters, I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at it. This is not a who's who of fighters. I got Cheyenne Baez versus Kay Hansen. Max Griffin versus Song Kenan. Gustavo Lopez versus Adrian Yanez. Dontel Mayes versus Tai Tuivasa. Like, that's one we know.
Wow. Just Tai.
Yeah. Gregor Gillespie, which we know, versus Brad Riddell, which I don't know. Gregor Gillespie, I think, was going to win this fight. Dude's got hands. That fight got canceled. What? Oh, which one? See, I'm gonna point my finger at MMA Mania, dude. Y'all gotta get y'all site updated. Keep coming to y'all for this facts. Y'all aren't updating your site.
Big facts.
And in the main event of the evening, Derek Brunson versus hometown hero, Trailblazer Kevin Holland. All right, we're only gonna flash fight pick the main event of the evening. Derek Brunson versus Kevin Holland. Coach, who you got?
You know I'm rolling with my homie.
Derek
Kevin Holland.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Good try, though.
Kelechi KC Onyebuchi.
I will go with my former hometown and rock with Kevin Holland.
All right. John Keys.
I'm going to go with Kevin Holland. He asked for this. He said he wanted a real test. He got it, and I think he'll make it.
All right. Well, we are all on Kevin Holland. I'm not going against Kevin Holland NMO. I swore.
Lepidolite.
He called for Holland as well.
Yep. So we're all even our audience is for Kevin Holland tonight. I swore that I was not going to pick against Kevin Holland again after he beat Jacare the way he did. So I am all on.
Lord of mercy.
I got a feeling Holland's going to come out and show us Big Mouth too. Like Big Mouth is going to make an appearance. Like I don't know, you guys have. I can't say that, but if you ever got a chance to see him when he was fighting on some of the other promotions that he was on, literally he would be in the ring talking noise to the commentators, to the judges, to the referees, to the ring girls. Like
he still does that.
Literally, he is having conversations while in the middle of a fight, and I think we're going to see the alter ego Big Mouth make an appearance. Yep, over at XKO, you're absolutely right, the pedalite.
Oh yeah, he still does that, and I think that's he's gonna talk himself into a championship at this rate.
Yeah, well, Israel Adesanya is coming back down. Why?
Yeah,
Because he got beat.
And believe me, he's looking for him too. He is looking for him. Remember that they have words.
Follow us on social media. On Instagram, I'm at Combat Sports Talk. John Keys.
I am at Keys to Victory, and that's Keys with an ES.
Kelechi.
I'm at Push Pull Pray, unless your name is Jenny, and then I'm not on social media.
Oh snap! Oh my goodness!
Oh, I'm glad you edited that. We made it this far. Don't mess us up. John Keys. George Stallworth.
Darkside _ Muay Thai _ on Instagram.
All right, and you can find us on our website at www.combatsportstalk.com. We are on all of your favorite podcasting platforms, all up here on the screen. Unless you're listening to us, then you need to watch us on YouTube. Shout out to MMA Junkie, MMA Fighting, MMA Mania, even though y'all don't update y'all's websites fast enough, Bloody Elbow, and the Intelligent Defense Discussion Group, all on Facebook. Find us on Facebook, the Intelligent Defense Discussion Group. Look, check out that nice shirt. Roll that beautiful bean footage you got there, Mr. Stallworth. There it is. That's what it looks like. Look for that logo. That's where we are during the week. On behalf of John Keys, George Stallworth, and Kelechi KC Onyebuchi, my name is Ryan Smith, reminding you to keep your hands up, your chin tucked, and throw bombs. We'll catch you next time.